Hello, this is the RPG Crawler, and welcome to another RPG News Roundup, this time for November 9th, 2024, where each week I take a look back at the week in tabletop, computer, and console role-playing game news and bring you the highlights. And this week, I'm once again pressed for time, so I'm going to go ahead and apologize for the lack of the usual little thumbnails and stuff up here. I got to get my schedule together pretty soon, but I'm doing what I can to bring you this. As always, we'll start with computer and console role-playing game news. It looks like Skyguard Arena is set for early access on Steam on November 18th. It'll feature the first 3 chapters of the full game. Skyguard Arena will be a kind of RPG, tactical RPG, set in a world made of floating islands with a turn-based battle system. It looks like High School Crisis, which I covered last time, is going to be delayed for 2 more weeks. It looks like it'll launch on November 21st. It'll be a dungeon crawler where you play a group of high school students who have been sent to another realm. Tactical RPG New Arc Line will be hitting early access on November 26th. It'll eventually hit the PC as well as the PS5 and Xbox Series X/S sometime next year, or sometimes this year. No, sometimes next year. Sometimes next year for the console releases at least. Tokyo Clan Pool is set to hit sometime in December. It looks like it'll hit the PC on GOG.com on December 19th. Eventually it'll get a release on the Nintendo Switch, although that hasn't really been set up yet. Originally released in Japan on the PlayStation Vita, it is set in the near-future Tokyo after a massive tower connecting the city with a reverse city in the sky has appeared. RPG Maker With is getting a Western release on the PS4 and PS5. It looks like it'll launch sometime in February 21st of 2025. Theastery was announced, and I'm probably mispronouncing that. It will be a dungeon crawler RPG. It looks like a first-person grid-based, step-based dungeon crawler that'll also feature roguelike and turn-based gameplay where you send a party down into a vast labyrinth. Negative Reverie was announced, although there is no release window on it yet. It will be a retro handheld-inspired RPG where you play a young woman looking to take down the CEO of a corporation. As far as actual releases go, Metal Slug Tactics saw its release. It is a tactical RPG with roguelike kind of bent set in the Metal Slug universe. Mirthwood was released. It's a farming sim sandbox-style RPG in a medieval fantasy world. It lets you settle a homestead, grow things, build your house and such, but also go on adventures. Lost Eidolons, Veil of the Witch, is in early access. It is a tactical RPG in the same world as Lost Eidolons, where you are stranded on an island with scattered memories and you need to recruit allies and figure out what's going on. Throne Requiem is a classic CRPG in the first-person party-based dungeon crawler style set in a medieval world. There is a demo available. Dawn of the Ashen Queen is a classic grid-based dungeon crawler. Looks like there was a fair number of these coming up. It's good to see that genre resurging. Anyway, you set out with your party to figure out what's going on with an ancient curse. Valifor is a tactical RPG auto-battler with a dark fantasy world with roguelike dungeons. There is crafting and kingdom-building elements as well. Hanked Origins looks to be a retro FPS with RPG elements and Lovecraftian influences. Year 2031 is an adventure RPG with a sort of retro look, looks like a Game Boy inspired style in a world based on Eastern Europe. Brutus Maximus is an action roguelite. It looks like some sort of survivor wave-based style game. I don't usually cover these because there's just so many of them, but this looked interesting. It deals with a trip around the Roman Empire facing off against hordes of legions. Master Quest Fantasy is a roguelike dungeon crawler inspired by 70s and 80s tabletop RPGs with a sort of pen and paper style art influence. Actually looks neat. I should wishlist that. Afterlife Gladiator is a turn-based tactical RPG with party-based encounters where all sorts of creatures have been trapped in a realm beyond death where they must fight each other in a tournament. Finally, there is Tower of Darkness, a lo-fi dungeon exploration RPG where you go into a tower to exorcise it of demons and gather treasure. Onwards towards tabletop RPG news, I didn't really see anything major coming out, and I have a suspicion that a fair number of game designers are not going to be in the mood to deal with anything for the next week or so I'm going to dive right into minor and PDF releases. The Pathfinder First Edition version of Kobold Quest From Ashes to Empire is out. It is a large adventure with 50-plus hours of gameplay, where you play a group of kobolds meant to become the ruler of the greatest kingdom of kobolds. Into the Wild Sylvan Domain looks to be a new cleric domain for Pathfinder First Edition and compatible systems that deals with ancient forests and mystical fae. High Stakes Hazards Haunted House is a Pathfinder 2nd Edition compatible offering, which includes 10 new hazards for haunted houses in similar locations. Speak with Animals, Animal Companions 2 for Pathfinder 2nd Edition is what it says on the tin. A collection of animal companions, including stat blocks, for Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Kelphicil's Tales has a couple monster hunts for 5th Edition, each a one-shot adventure revolving around a single creature. There's Abaddon the Infernal Steed, Braided Serpent, and Fraggle the Noxious. Hell's Connection is a 5th Edition adventure with tough choices and deadly enemies, all set in a long-lost ruined dwarven kingdom. The Bandit Queen is a 5th Edition compatible adventure where bandits have plagued a mine, raiding caravans and such, and have recently become much more effective and organized and must be dealt with. It's inspired by the adventures of Robin Hood, and it will let you not only deal with them, but perhaps even join them. Gob's Petulance is a 5th Edition psychological horror adventure dealing with a noble goblin who is seeking help with her factory workers in a lemon factory. From the Village Vault, Ghosts of the Greenwood is a 5th Edition compatible adventure, a one-page adventure dealing with a haunted estate. Echoes of Olympus is available in print on demand and is a 5th Edition Greek mythology supplement with new races, classes, backgrounds, spells, creatures, deities, and so on. Night of the Draco-Lantern is a collection of monsters, magic items, and character options for 5th Edition, as well as a spooky one-shot. Legendary Games has Clerics and Cultists, a class-focused supplement for 5th Edition that deals with divine classes, including resources for PCs and NPCs. Epic Heroes Encyclopedia, The Epic Witch, offers a 5th Edition compatible class expansion for the Witch from Pet DM. It lets you play up to level 30. Forgotten Fate is a 5th Edition compatible core rulebook, basically a 5.25 style revision for 5th Edition, including campaign world details. D&D, But Everyone is a Goat, is an adaptive module for 5th Edition, wherein it is a 5th Edition adventure, except that all of the PCs and NPCs are goats. Don't know what I expected. Elven Tower has Dungeon Vault Magazine number 51, a collection of material for 5th Edition, as well as Shadowdark RPG, including more information, as well as some adventures and such. Bloodstones, The Tower, is a grim dark adventure for Shadowdark RPG, originally written back in 1987 for the Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing 1st Edition. Twisted Tales, issue 4, is a zine for Shadowdark, including various creatures, characters, and regions. River of Lies is a Dungeon Crawl Classics compatible adventure in the Purple Planet setting. As is Random Acts of Violet, it looks like there were several of these third-party offerings for the Purple Planet setting put out. This one, Random Acts of Violet, is a low-level Purple Planet setting adventure, including its own setting area. Gods of the Forbidden North, Volume 2, is available in print on demand and is the second of a 3-part mega-adventure series written for Old School Essentials and Advanced and similar systems. This one details the underworld beneath the continent's surface. Populated Hexes Monthly, issue 39, is another in the long-running Old School Essentials and similar material-compatible zine. This one deals with the southern end of an area detailed in earlier volumes, as well as a city therein. The Unleashed Evil is an OSR-style adventure tailored for low-level characters and is second in a series dealing with an ancient temple nestled in a small, secluded mountain valley. Lazy Panda RPG once more has several offerings for OSR systems. There's Fantastic Creatures Volumes 1 and 2, detailing creatures from Brazil and Celtic mythology, respectively. Then there's Lost Grimoires Volume 7, which offers more spells. Six Hack is an OSR-style set of rules for role-playing in the spirit of the 1974 version of the classic RPG, but with more modern sensibilities, including a unified action resolution system, an action point economy, and so forth. The Realm of the Mountain King is an OSR-style offering detailing a fully keyed realm in a rugged landscape of strongholds carved into mountainsides, suited for old-school essentials and similar systems. The Evil at the End of the Path is a third-party adventure for the Dragonbane RPG, which deals with an ancient forest said to be enchanted where a malicious force has begun to grow. Blades in the Dark, Deep Cuts is an expansion for the Blades in the Dark RPG that includes a large amount of lore, setting material, alternate mechanics, factions, and more. A Giant Pain is an OSR-style adventure for what appears to be the Chronicles of Ember that deals with a town where a once peaceful stone giant has been driven into madness. Tidal Blades is an RPG featuring a peaceful paradise in a gorgeous archipelago where a force that once held great sea monsters at bay is beginning to fail, so you have to go out and face off with them. Scurvy Buggers is an easy-to-learn tabletop RPG where you play a crew of pirates on the high seas. Against the Gloom is a music-based RPG about music and building community. Pelgrane Press has a few offerings for the Gumshoe system, each one actually for, I believe, a separate system or RPG within the Gumshoe system. There is a Brought to Light, or rather a one-shot for the Swords and the Serpentine collection, as well as a Borealis Connection, this one for the Fall of Delta Green, set in the late 60s. Sidereal's Charging Fate's course is available in print on demand and deals with the Sidereal Exalted for the Exalted system, of course. The Shadow Tower is a modern high-rise with a firm led by Euthanatos mages for Mage the Ascension. 9D6 Scare Quest is a solo horror dice management game with procedural generation of material. Watchdogs of Kilcade is a sort of a superhero-style game based on the Barbarians of Lemuria Mythic Plus Edition with a sprinkling of other systems within it. Blood Justice 8 Days 8 Days Nocturne, I believe, is suited for Prowlers and Paragons and includes 8 short self-contained adventures. And my text-to-speech, my speech-to-text that I used to transcribe these scripts beforehand completely botched that one, and I'm going from memory on that one, so my apologies. I should have edited it beforehand. I did edit it. I missed that one somehow. Anyway, Renegade Game Studios has a couple offerings for the My Little Pony Essence system. I know some people will be happy about that. They got the Great Kate Mistake and Sunday Mystery. Warhammer 40,000, Wrath and Glory, Pilgrims of the Waste is a short adventure taking place on a perilous planet and deals with transporting a rare Aldari prisoner. Spells Aldari, right? Who knows? Anyway, the Ruthless Veil Gamma Subsector Guide is a sector guide for the Traveler system and similar systems that details the various worlds, planetary systems, factions, and so forth of that particular area. The Heart of Tiberius is an adventure for Mothership in zine format where you explore the Tiberius mining station. Finally, there is Archveer, also for Mothership, which is spelled oddly, and yet the voice-to-text spelled it correct. Why could it not get the one above anyway? This time it is a film/documentary and toolkit where players put their lives on the line to make a movie in a alien-infested kill zone. Man, it must be rough to have the players putting their lives in. Anyway, with that, I will move on to crowdfunding campaigns. Remember that contributing to a crowdfunding campaign should be done only at your own risk. Doing so is no guarantee of even receiving a product mentioned here is not an endorsement, but is for informational purposes only. And we'll start with a few computer and console campaigns. I've been trying to pull these in more and more of the computer and console to help balance out the Kickstarter section. Also, on other sites section, but mostly Kickstarter nowadays because some of the other sites got weird. Anyway, and not that Kickstarter wasn't weird enough. Anyway, we'll start with the remake, or we'll start with the Ethereal Fracture, which will be a roguelike RPG with randomly generated dungeons, challenging enemies, bosses, equipment, abilities, and so forth. Then there's the remake of The End of the Greatest RPG of All Time, which will be a meta-fictional remake of a non-existent 90s-style JRPG ending, and the entire game is based around that. Vampire Clans will be an action RPG with base management where you command your vampire clan, deal with various events, and they really need to get more work on the game to put it up, to showcase it. On towards tabletop campaigns, A Long Night of Mourning will be a 5th edition one-shot, which will deal with a number of ranger NPCs as well as monsters that feed on your dreams. The Fall of Rivenhelm will be a system-neutral adventure for 5th edition. I don't know that they know what system-neutral means. Anyway, I'm assuming that means 5th edition stats, but can be converted easily, and is from Cowwood Publishing. The Prince of Sands will be a D&D adventure for 5th edition for levels 11 to 16, and will be set in the deserts of Faerun. It looks like there'll be an evil-aligned adventure option within the stretch goals, so there is that if it gets unlocked. A Deadly Quest will be a 5th edition adventure of mystery, conspiracies, and so forth, and will also involve a tournament. It'll be the first of a potential trilogy. The Shadow of Dracula will be a gothic horror 5th edition adventure dealing with Dracula's influence resurfacing in Eastern Europe a decade after his defeat, so it'll be in like the 1800s, I believe. And it looks like it's the season once again for Krampus-based adventures. The Krampus Confrontation will be a 5th edition one-shot where you rescue Santa and save Christmas once again from Krampus, and there's so many of these now. Anyway, there's also Yuletide Adventure, Rise of the Draco Lich, which looks to be a holiday-themed adventure for 5th edition, expanding on the Trouble in Tinseltown adventure from last year, and I'm assuming it doesn't star Krampus, so a Christmas adventure that doesn't install Krampus. Nice. Bjorfrost, D100 Dockside Rumors will be a collection of 100 seafaring rumors suitable for 5th edition and other campaigns. Creature Feature Quarterly, Volume 10 for 5th edition, will be another collection of various monsters for 5th edition with artwork, mini designs, virtual tabletop tokens, and so forth. Soul Cache will be a speculative evolutionary bestiary compatible with 5th edition and include art, tabletop and miniatures, and so forth. D&D 5th edition equipment packs will be a collection of new equipment packs for adventurers to use and deploy for 5th edition, of course. Meet Your Maker will be a Weird Frontiers RPG adventure. That's the DCC compatible Weird West one. It should be also generally DCC compatible. It'll be a 0-level funnel / first level adventure you can use for either one. Mayhem at Mulgrain Farm will be an old school style RPG compatible adventure and will be the first installment of a series set around a coastal city at the mouth of a river. Wind of Dragons RPG will be a D20 style system where a fantasy tabletop RPG blends elements of classic RPG elements with modern mechanics, so many of those as well. Rip Crypt will be a fast-paced dungeon sprint RPG with a lo-fi aesthetic and smooth mechanics meant to just get through the dungeon fast. Hedge looks to be a power fantasy tabletop RPG where post-apocalyptic magical warriors face off against hordes of scary fairies. Vileborn will be a tabletop RPG about heroes with darkness within them that use that darkness to face off against threats to the world and will focus on coming-of-age hero journeys. Era the Consortium 10th Anniversary will be a new set of rulebooks for the sci-fi era, the Consortium RPG, along with expansions. Finally, there is a Mansion Most Vile, which will be a mansion crawl for the Mothership RPG. And with that, I'm going to wrap things up here. This has been the RPG Crawler with my RPG News Roundup for November 9th, 2024. I understand that this channel has fallen off a little bit of late. I would like to apologize that. It's all I can do to just put the news roundups in, and I know it's like week after week I say, oh, I'm going to get my stuff together and get it. Those of you who have been longtime viewers of the channel know that I eventually will. It may take a little while, but eventually I'll start cranking stuff out again. I've got a stack of reviews this high to do, and I need to do them. And I want to start reviewing and covering indie video games again at some point. Anyway, I'll try my best. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
And if you are still watching, I would like to take the opportunity to thank my supporters, the top tiers of which are listed on the screen, without whose support I would not have been able to offer the variety of content that I have on this channel throughout the years. If you're feeling particularly generous and would like to join them, you can support the channel. There are a variety of options to do so. I have a Patreon, a Subscribestar, as well as channel memberships enabled. If you are not in a position to contribute, simply leaving a like, a comment, or sharing my videos are all wonderful ways to help the channel grow without spending a dime, and are all greatly appreciated.